Welcome back everyone to another episode of Advanced React WordPress Theme Development. In the previous episode, we learned about how to create the preview endpoint where we check if the user is authenticated or not. If the auth token is not present, we redirect him to the login page. Otherwise, we redirect him to the relevant preview page in Next.js. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to create a login page. So what we're going to do is we'll come over here and then we'll create a file inside of the root of the pages directory and we'll name it as login. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll copy the code from here. So I'll just copy the code from here and then I'll explain to you what's happening over there. So I pasted it here. You will get the code You'll get the code in the GitHub repository, which is Next.js Headless WordPress at imranhsayed. So let me show you what's happening here. So we have created a component called login, and so this is a React component called login, and then we're using the router. Then we are setting the initial state, which contains the login fields and then also the function to update the username and password based on when user enters that information. We're also handling errors. So we are again initializing another state to store the error message and set the error message. Then we have a function called onFormSubmit. We'll come back to that in a moment. Let's go down at the bottom. We have the layout where we are passing the data. So this data basically comes from this get page URL, and this page basically just gets the basic information of the page. For now, we're just getting the home page, but ideally it should be the login page, which we can update later. And then this get page is also going to get us the header and the footer. So header and the footer and the SEO information, and then we are passing the default props, which is the data here, and then we are also handling the redirects in case if the data is not present. Redirect the user to 503, otherwise it should be 404. Okay, so this is going to pass the data to our login component over here. We have the layout, which contains your header and footer and SEO components. Then over here we check if the error message is present or not. If it is present, then we show the error. Then we have the form, we have the onSubmit function. We have two inputs, one is for username and second is for your password. So we have got the username and password, then we have the login button here. And then once the user enters the information over here, then we go ahead and call this handle onChange, the job of which is to call the set login fields function, which is basically over here. So the state that we initialize for login field has a method called set login fields. The job of this is to set the username and password. So that's what's going to happen inside of the handle onChange. Is going to set the values of the login fields, which is the username and the password. So event.target.name, event.target.value. So for example, username equals so-and-so and the password equals so-and-so. It's going to set those values. Okay, and then finally, when the form is submitted, onFormSubmit is called. And onFormSubmit is basically going to set the error message to null initially. Then it's going to get the information, which is the post type and the post preview ID from the query, because remember, we are redirecting the user to /login and then post type equals so-and-so and preview post ID equals so-and-so, so that once he's authenticated, once he's logged in, we can redirect him to the proper URL, okay, to the relevant URL. And then we are also going to do validation and sanitizations. For that, let's create another file. So let me just copy this one. So inside of the validator, so inside of the utils, we're going to create another directory called validator, and inside of this we're going to create a file and we'll name it as login, because this will be related to the login validation. Then I'll copy the code from here and I'll paste it. I will ensure I add another package, which is yarn add validator. So this package is going to be installed now. So basically at this point, whatever data we're going to get, we are just going to check if it's not empty. We're also going to add any errors. For example, if it doesn't have the X number of length in terms of min and maximum. So we're going to handle on that. So, and apart from that, we're also going to check if the field is present or not. Otherwise, we'll set errors. Okay, and then we also do the escaping as well. So validator function. So validator package has a method called escape. So we do the escaping and sanitization here. Okay, so this is what's happening over here. And then we are going to return the sanitized data, the errors, and we're also going to return if it's valid or not. Okay, so if there's no errors, then it's a valid data. So that's the function we are calling here. We've got the validate and sanitize login form function, which is being called over here, and just going to pass the username and password and just going to validate the result. If the validation result is valid, which means that if you check this function is going to set the is valid to true in case if there are no errors. So if it is valid, then we are going to use XCOs. So let's go ahead and add XCOs as well. So I'll say yarn add XCOs. So it's going to add the XCOs. Then we're just using XCOs to do a post request to /API/login, which we will create in a moment. And we are passing the username, the password, and the URL. Now you must be wondering, why is it that I'm creating another endpoint called login? Why can't we directly send a request to the server, right? The reason for this is because this is done client side, right? If I go ahead and pass the authorization token client side, then it can be vulnerable. That is why we use an endpoint kind of like a proxy, and it's going to go ahead and make a request to our endpoint, and because that's server side in Next.js, so the hacker won't be able to get the auth token information because it's available in the cookie on this HTTP only, right? Then we go ahead and get the success message out of the data.data, and then we check if it is if we have the post type available, if we have the preview post ID available, which you're going to pull it from the router.query, because remember that when we are sending it to the login, we're also passing the post type and preview post ID. So that's what we are pulling over here from the query. And then finally, we are going to get the preview redirect URL. So which is this one. And once we have the preview redirect URL, we are going to use router.push to send the user to that particular page. Okay, so which in this case, it could be either the block preview page, which is this one. So block/preview/ID or page/preview/ID, depending on what type of post it is, whether it's a post or it's a page. Then we just catch any errors, which we'll implement later. This function is to set the client side error, which is our custom function that we have used over here by initializing the error message. Okay, so that's what's happening over here. So the next thing we're going to do is create the login endpoint. So let's do that. So I'll go to API, and then I'll create a file called login. So this is going to automatically create an endpoint called login once we implement the export default async method. So I'm going to copy this code from here. I'm going to paste it. Create a function called login user. Okay, now inside of utils, we'll create another file called api.js. And I'm going to paste this function here. So this asynchronous function will be called login user. You can rename it whatever you want. It's going to take username and password. Then it's going to do a client-side query. So it will need Apollo client. Let's pull that in. So I'm going to need to have this. Okay, so Apollo client, we're going to pull the client. Then I'm going to need the UUID as well, because the login mutation is going to need to have the client mutation ID, which needs to be unique. So I'm going to add that as well. So I'll say yarn add UUID. Okay. And then, so we're also going to need to have the login mutation. So let's add that. I'm going to go to source and I'm going to create a directory called mutation. Inside of this, I will create a file called login.js and I'm going to paste it here. So basically this is going to be a login mutation. It's going to take the login input, which will be the username and password. It's going to return auth token as well as the user information in case if you need it. Okay, now this is going to use this login. Rename this to mutations because there'll be more than one mutation. Okay, so we've got this to mutations. We've got this login query. We are passing the client mutation ID, which is a unique information. It's a unique ID generated by the package UUID using the function v4. We've got the username, password. So you've got all of that information. And so then it's going to give us the data. And then finally, let me comment this out for now. So let's go back to our API login.js. So we pull that login user function here. So it's async await. It's going to do the query. So login user is going to do the query, pass all of that information, return the data, which will be containing your auth token. Auth token as well as the user details. Then we're going to use a function that's available inside of the response called set header. And we're going to do set cookie. And then we're also going to serialize that. So cookie.serialize and whatever the name of that cookie we want to keep. So in this case, let's keep it auth. Then we use a string function. We stringify the auth token just in case if it isn't. And we're going to get that information in data.login.auth token. So remember that in the login user, if you go to login, it's login.auth token, right? So it'll be data.login.auth token. All right. We make sure it's HTTP only. So this is important. We must set this to true. The reason for this is because HTTP only cookie are not accessible via JavaScript on the client side. So you can't do document.cookie and access that cookie. So that's that. Then you do, so this is for HTTPS. If it's in development mode, then we don't want to use HTTPS because remember that our local host is HTTP. Then we put the path, we put the expiry age, max age. You can update it according to how long the JWT is valid. Then you go ahead and send the status of 200 and you send the JSON response. In case if the auth token is available, you set that to a Boolean value of either true or false. Okay, that's how you do the API call. So once the API call is done, we get the success message. Okay, so let's try it out. I'm going to go ahead and run npm run dev. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here. So let's go ahead and hit preview. Let's go over here. Now you can see that it's redirected the user to post type equals post and the preview post ID 25. So what's happened over here is that, let me close all of this. So what happens is that because we have created an endpoint called preview, when you hit this URL, okay, when you hit the URL API/preview, it reaches here, it checks, is the auth token available in the cookie using this function. If it isn't available, then it's going to redirect the user to the login page. And that's what's happening here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and log in. So I'm going to do root and then the password and I hit login. Let's see what happens. So now if you notice that it's redirected the user to /blog/preview, and something interesting would be, can you see that over here? It's also set the auth token inside of the HTTP only cookie, right? So if you zoom in, okay, this is the auth, this is the token, and we are setting that HTTP only, so it cannot be read by JavaScript client side, right? So we've got the block preview, and it's redirected to the correct one. So what just happened here? So if you take a look, you go to the login page. So it went to this login page. Over here, user entered the information, and then we made a request to /API/login, which is this one. At this point, we called the endpoint of WordPress. So over here, we used GraphQL to do a mutation with login by passing the username and password. It returned us the auth token, which is this. And then what we did was we set the cookie, and that's why you were able to see that cookie over here in auth. So we set the cookie, and then finally, after the login is done, so response is success, we go ahead and do router.push and the preview URL to preview. So the preview URL it generates will be blog/preview/ the post ID, and that's where we are currently. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. So that's how your login functionality is done for the preview. In the next video, we will go ahead and render the content on the preview page. All right. So I hope you did like the video. If you did, please give a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And do follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Codeytek. And do start my repository to support my work. My repository name is Next.js Headless WordPress. And do follow me on GitHub. My GitHub handle is imranhsayed. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.